Hello everyone, what we have here is TAI-43 or TAI-43. It stands for field telephone with an induction call or magneto call. There are already many reviews of these telephones online, but most of them show post-war production models. What are you looking at here is an actual wartime produced TAI-43, most likely manufactured around 1945. As you can see, it's placed in a wooden case. This is one of the distinctive features of Red Army field telephones produced during the war. Almost all of them came in wooden cases. On the front, we can see a metal shutter covering a slot. This opening is used to route the handset cable outside the case. I'll show you exactly how that works later in the video. And here to the right, we have three openings for cables. And on the side there are strap mounts and latches that hold the lid in place. On this side there is also an opening covered by a shutter. This is where the generator handle is connected. On the opposite side we also have a strap mount and a hook. At the back the lid is attached with two hinges. Other than that there is nothing else on the body of the case. In my collection I have several TAI-43 units. This particular one is not the most interesting example, but I chose it for the first video. I will explain later why I selected exactly this one. With the beginning of the war, one of the main communication problems of Red Army was lack of unified telephones. A wide variety of telephone models were in service. They were all different types, and even the size of the cases sometimes varied. This made field communication very inconvenient. There were both induction calling and buzzer calling telephones. These two types were not compatible with each other and could not be directly connected. Because of this, a decision was made to develop a standardized telephone that would later become the main field telephone of the Red Army. That device became the TAI-43. The designer of this telephone was Olga Repina. The set was developed based on operational experience with German military telephones. Using the standard cable of Red Army, the PTF-7, communication range could reach up to 25 kilometers or 16 miles. The telephone could also be connected to overhead telephone lines, in which case the communication range could extend up to 250 kilometers or about 130 miles. Let's open it and take a look inside. The device itself is made of bakelite. This is a distinctive feature of the TAI-43. Earlier field telephones were mostly made of plywood or wood, with everything except the handset constructed from wooden materials. Let's remove the handset for convenience. On the side of the lid we have a printed wire read schema and testing instructions. This particular unit was serviced in 1950, and it's likely that the original schema and instructions were removed during that repair. Here it's actually photos that have slightly curled and deformed due to age. There is also a little piece of wool fabric on the lid. This is used to secure the handset so it doesn't move during transportation when the case is closed. It simply presses the handset in place. We also have a holder for a handle and mounting point for a screwdriver. A small screwdriver was stored here, of course not the modern type, and it would be inserted like this. Now let's take a closer look at the internal layout. We can see a socket for additional headset that can be connected here for easier listening. There is also a Sheka button and three terminals, Gazette, L1 and L2. The Gazette terminal is grounding. L1 and L2 are used to connect the telephone to the line. During the war, the Red Army used two main connection systems, a two-wire system and a single-wire system. The two-wire system is a standard configuration used even today. Two wires come in and are connected to these terminals, meaning the telephone cable must be a two-wire line. During the war, a single-wire connection was often used. In this configuration, only one cable line comes to the station and is connected to L1 terminal, while the second wire is ground, connected to the line 2 terminal. In summer conditions, according to the instruction, the ground terminal, Gazette, and L2 were connected together. On the lid, we can also see the factory stamp of factory number 1 of People's Commissariat of Defense in Moscow. This was a well-known factory. Power was supplied by batteries of type 3V or 3C, standard 1.5 volt batteries. The lid of the battery compartment also serves as a stand for the handset. Let's open it. To do this, we need to unscrew this screw. Inside, we can see the battery compartment and two power terminals, positive and negative. The handset can now be disconnected. Here we see a 3-pin connector. The handset itself is very simple in design. It uses a push-to-talk switch. We can speak when press it, when we listen, we release it. This was a standard in all military telephones as it helped save battery power. The reason is simple. When the push-to-talk switch is pressed, the microphone circuit is powered and the battery is actually consumed. Here we also have a compartment where the handset cable is stored when the telephone is closed. Let's remove the telephone unit from the case and take a look at what's inside. To do this, we need to unscrew these two screws. Inside we can see a capacitor. It's marked with the date 1950, the year this unit was serviced and repaired. The internal design is quite simple. A capacitor, an inductor column generator or magneto, a telephone transformer, and the lightning arrestor used to protect the device in case of lightning strike on the line. On this side we can see a scratch marking 50, most likely indicating the same year when it was repaired. We also have the ring. Pay attention to the wiring. Here we already see a rubber insulated wires. In older telephones, thread-wrapped insulation was commonly used instead. This is the internal structure of the case. Simple supports with pieces of rubber. The handset can be also disassembled. Inside, it's possible to remove or replace both the receiver capsule and microphone capsule. The TAI-43 handset is a newer type design. It's not compatible with older telephone models. Older telephone models handsets were generally interchangeable with each other and used the 4-pin connector system, while this one uses a 3-pin connector. And now we assemble everything back together. Let's now test the telephone according to the service manual. First, of course, we need to connect the battery. I will connect it here using a modern non-authentic battery for demonstration purposes. Power is now connected. Now the functionality test. It says, with the push-to-talk switch pressed, blow into the microphone. In the headset, the noise should be heard. So when the push-to-talk switch is pressed, we should hear our own voice in the receiver. When it's not pressed, we should not hear ourselves. This indicates that the circuit is working properly. Next, we short the L1 and L2 terminals, press the Shika switch, and rotate the generator handle. The bell should ring. To short these terminals, we can simply use a paper clip. We bend it and connect L1 and L2. Done. Now we take the crank handle and attach it. The handle is fixed by simply screwing, which was not always very convenient. Sometimes it could rust and become difficult to remove. Now, while holding the Shika button, we rotate the generator handle. The ringer inside the device should sound. Yes, it works. This means that the telephone is fully operational. Let's remove the jumper wire. And now we can connect the telephone set to a line. For this, I will of course use a modern P274 cable instead of the original PTF7 field cable. This is a two-wire line. We connect it to the L1 and L2 terminals. Done. For easier operation, we can roll the handset outside and close the lid. This is exactly what this opening is designed for. In this configuration, grounding is not required. Now the unit is on standby in operational mode. On the other side of the line, we will connect another TAI-43 unit, which I will cover in the future episode. This is also a wartime produced example manufactured in November 1944. The phones are now connected. Let's try calling from one telephone to the other. The telephone is ringing. We have an incoming call. Now we call back from the second unit to the first one. It works. The call goes through. As you can hear, each unit even has its own slightly different ringing tone. Now let's test the audio quality. Both sets are connected through a field cable reel TK2 with a total cable length of 500 meters or about 500 yards. On the second TAI-43, which I moved into another room, I'm holding down the push-to-talk switch on the handset and playing the music that you can hear now. Just a reminder, this signal is traveling through two 80-year-old telephones separated by 500 meters of cable. Let me know in the comments how is the sound quality. And a short note on why I chose this particular unit for my first review. Because it has personal value for me, this was my first field telephone that started my collection. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.